Hello, Andy here from the Andy of Astro YouTube channel. I've got next to me the ST20 harmonic drive mount, which we're going to connect via Wi-Fi to Stellarium. So the first thing we need to do is to actually configure Stellarium. So I've opened Stellarium here, and you go over to the configuration window, which is here, and then to plugins and down to telescope control. So when you click options at the bottom, load at startup, it will add the telescope control to the bottom of Stellarium. So once you've got that configured, that's great. We're now going to come out of Stellarium and we're going to load the OnStep driver. I've just googled OnStep ASCOM driver, and you click on this link here and it takes you through to the OnStep groups.io page. And if you click here on stellarjourney.com, unfortunately it's going to a broken link at the moment. I don't know why that is the case. Previously I thought that was okay, and that was basically the page to go to. So clearly the server's down at the moment, or there are connectivity issues with that. But normally you would go there and you should be able to download the ASCOM driver. Fortunately for me, I have previously downloaded it and I've got it here. I know that doesn't help you guys, and I am sorry for that. But if you're on the PC platform, currently I can't show where you go to download it because I just can't gain access. What I'll do is, when this does become live again, or when the link to the OnStep driver comes live again, I'll make another video, just a really teeny tiny one, to show where you can get the OnStep driver from. What I do have is the actual files, which are here. So I'm going to just load these files. I've just double clicked on the zip there and I'm just going to install those. It says yes, do you want to install them? I'm just going to click yes, and then I'm going to accept the agreement, click next and install. I have previously installed it, which is why it asked me to do that. So that's it. It has now installed the ASCOM driver for OnStep. The next step is to turn on your mount. So I'm literally going to do that right now. There we go. So the mount is now powering on. And one quite nice thing about this mount is it auto homes when you switch it on. So basically you switch it on, it also homes. And I'm just going to wait a few moments until the Wi-Fi on this unit starts broadcasting. I'm now going to go into my Wi-Fi options, which are here, and I'm going to find OnStep, which is that one there, and I'm just going to click connect. Now it's asked me for a password. Now OnStep, the password for this particular mount is password. So we just type in password. And that should now be connecting this computer, which I'm currently working on, to the mount. And it seems to be doing that at the moment. So it looks like we're connected. Now it will flag up that there is no internet, which makes perfect sense. It's an astronomy mount. It doesn't have internet on that. So what we're going to do now is go back into Stellarium, and we are going to connect via ASCOM to this mount. We're now in Stellarium, and we go down and we click on the telescope here, and what we need to do is click configure telescopes. We then go to this little icon here, which looks like a piece of paper with a cross in the bottom left, and we go add new telescope. This telescope is going to be the ST20, so we'll go ST20 and I'll just put mount in there, and I want it to connect via ASCOM, and I need it to be choose ASCOM telescope. So we need to go OnStep here, and then we click properties, and it brings up the OnStep details that we have here. If you select there and click IP address, it has now populated all of those details within OnStep. Now you would normally, because it's previously populated my location, you would normally put your location in there so that it knows the geography of where you are. You also need to put the serial interface 9600 baud rate. So 9600 baud rate. And then click OK, and OK again, and then OK one more time, and you've got your mount added within Stellarium. I'm now going to click connect. It says it's connected, so this is all being done via Wi-Fi at the moment. So let's choose, I don't know, let's go to Vega. So I'll double click on Vega. There's Vega, and we'll go to our telescope control as well, and I'm going to click current objects to populate the right ascension and declination of Vega, and then we're going to click slew. And lo and behold, the mount is now slewing, and that is all being done via Wi-Fi, which is really, really cool. And you can see if I move this, you can see that the ST20 mount icon is now hurtling towards Vega. Let's try another one. I'm going to go to Deneb, so we'll double click on Deneb, and I'll add that as the current object, and we will slew. And the mount is now slewing to Deneb. So we have control of the mount via Wi-Fi and within Stellarium. This is the manual, which I've managed to get a copy of. This is the English version of the manual. And if you go down to connectivity and Wi-Fi, there's a bit here which really caught me out, and it's the wireless connection bit, which is here. And it says that the IP address of the mount is 192.168.0.1. That bit is correct. And it says and 9999 in the port field. Now I wanted to connect via my mobile phone, because that's where, if you're doing visual observation, you will probably want to use some kind of thing like this to connect to your mount. And I can assure you 9999 is not the port on my mount. It isn't. It's 9998. That's the port on this mount, and I've just finally managed to get this to work, and I'm going to go through that process now. Here we are on my mobile telephone, and the first thing you need to make sure you do is turn off your mobile data. If you have your mobile data on, it will not connect to the network which is being transmitted from this mount. So you have to turn off your mobile data. You then need to go and connect to OnStep in your Wi-Fi. So you basically click connect, and the password is password. So at the moment I'm connected to the mount via Wi-Fi. Then what you need to do is go into Stellarium. So I have now gone into Stellarium, and you go to your top 3 lines and you click observation tools and telescope control, which is just there. And you can see I am currently connected, so I'm going to disconnect to this. And what you have to do is select network, because we're connecting via the network on here. You then put in your IP address, which is 192.168.0.1, and port 9998, not 9999. Then you click connect, and it's now going through its routine in order to connect to the mount. So that is now connected. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to randomly select something. Let's go, say, to Andromeda. And then I'm going to click go to and click go to again. And I understand, go to. And you can see the mount is now going to where it thinks Andromeda is. And if you look on the screen, you can see the telescope icon is now going across. This is useful because if you were using this mount for visual observation, you'd be able to use Stellarium as your planetarium and be able to use the go-to features to be able to slew to various objects. You can then use these bits here to change the speed. So if I go to max and then I click on one of these, you can see that the mount is slewing under the control of the app. And I'll go back. You can see this is quite a powerful set of features that you can have to be able to control this mount via the Wi-Fi interface that it has built in. Having Wi-Fi on a mount like this is incredibly useful for visual observation. If you're using this mount with, say, a mobile phone and everything is in sync, so the app is in sync with where your telescope is actually looking at, and the mount is in sync with all of those, then it's incredibly powerful. It's a really, really powerful tool to have. Using Wi-Fi for imaging, I would think that would be very difficult to have a reliable connection. Anything which introduces an air gap is potential for things to disconnect. In my career, I use an awful lot of radio mics, and I've learned through bitter experience that as soon as you introduce an air gap, things tend to be prone to failure. So whilst it's not impossible potentially to use the Wi-Fi for guiding, for myself, it's not something I would do because it introduces another factor which could potentially lead to a failure. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope it was useful. I wanted to explain a couple of the Wi-Fi features on this mount and the quirks of how you set up the connectivity to the mount. Take care, everybody, and I will speak to you all soon. Cheers now. Bye.